Welcome back. I'm Dr. Margaret. In my previous videos, we've discussed the 10 traits of people who may be suffering from perfectly hidden depression, or PHD. So let's dig into the first of the 10 traits. Now, there are 2 layers to this trait. First, you're highly perfectionistic. And remember, we talked about how not all perfectionism is bad. But this kind of perfectionism is destructive because, and here's the second layer, it's motivated by needing to quiet or silence your inner critic. That voice who keeps telling you how pretty soon someone's going to figure out what an imposter you are, that you don't really have what it takes, that you're going to be completely at fault if things don't go perfectly. Ugh. That harsh voice that gets louder and louder if you consider your own needs, because that, according to that voice, is being self-centered. That voice that says you can never do enough or be enough to really matter. Why does this voice exist? There can be a lot of reasons. It's usually created in your childhood. Maybe you were so determined to never disappoint your parents because you had a brother or a sister that caused them worry and stress all the time. So you had to be perfect. It'd be shameful for you to disappoint them as well. Or maybe you were told you didn't amount to anything and never would, over and over. I remember a guy I worked with. He was actually a multimillionaire. He told me what he'd really like to do was to quit his job and volunteer to help build communities that were struggling in the world, using his skills to do so. When I asked him what was stopping him, he replied, "I can still hear my dad screaming at me that I was a worthless piece of crap. I never feel like I've made enough money or had enough success." There are other paths to PhD. Maybe you were sexually abused and you absorbed the shame of that, which of course was not yours to carry, but that's how victims feel. They absorb the shame more often than not and can carry it around for years. Or maybe you were loved conditionally. And what's that? That's when a parent says or implies, "Oh, I'll always love you if you become the person I need you to be." And so you do just that. There are a lot of ways for shame to govern your actions, but they all lead to this harsh, critical inner voice, either whispering or screaming at you. You better not mess up, and you know deep down how broken you are. That's what makes it different from a more joyful, fulfilling, striving to do your best attitude. Here's another quick idea. There's a difference between guilt and shame. Guilt is when you feel bad about something you regret. Maybe you feel remorse, maybe you can apologize, and you can forgive yourself. Shame is when that inner voice is telling you that you're a bad person. Rather than focusing on a given action, your shame belittles your very worth. And they're very, very different. I'm not going to end this without suggesting an idea to help. Start writing down what that harsh inner voice tells you. And then try to remember where and when you first started hearing that voice. When did it begin, and when does it tend to get louder in your present day life? Always be safe and seek help if you need it. This stuff can be very powerful. Feel free to leave a comment and I'll answer you. Let's talk about over-responsibility next time. Until then, take very good care.